Good evening. Welcome to the June 19th, 2013 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At this point, I want to remind you, if you could, please turn your cell phones off or at least put them on mute or vibrate for us. And if you would, please stand and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please have a seat. I see we have a quorum, but barely, but it's a quorum nonetheless, so I will entertain a motion to open the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
So moved. Second. All in favor, sign aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. All right. Just to give you kind of a roadmap for the evening, applications heard during tonight's meeting will be voted on by the Planning and Zoning Commission during the meeting tonight. The Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation on these applications will then be submitted to the St. Charles County Council for their final decision on the items. The individual items or bills will be introduced at the Tuesday, July 9th, 2013 County Council meeting. Just to kind of give you a roadmap, we will we'll read each application into the record. We will then ask staff for their recommendation, for their analysis and recommendations. Then we will ask any questions we have of staff. Then we will ask the applicant, if they so choose, to come up and talk about their application, answer any questions of the commission. Then we will then open it up to the public, where anybody in the room that wishes to speak on that topic may do so. If you do plan on speaking, please do fill out a speaker card that we have up here at the front. After the public portion is over, we will bring it before the commission. We will discuss it openly and make our recommendation to the that will be presented to the county council at their next meeting. The following documents are introduced as a matter of record for the public hearing in the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission: the Unified Development Ordinance of St. Charles County, including zoning maps, and the year 2020 Master Plan for St. Charles County, which includes the year 2020 Future Land Use Plan map. All right, the first application we have this evening is application 18883 by Karen Brock Construction Incorporated, applicant representative, Karen Brock Farms LLC owner. The application requests a conditional use permit for the extraction of topsoil. The property is zoned A/FF Agricultural District Floodway Fringe Overlay District. The property, known as 1378 Wilmer Road, is located approximately 1,800 feet east of Wilmer Road and 600 feet north of Wilmer Valley Drive. The property consists of 40.4 acres and is located within Council District 2. Staff?
Thank you. The zoning's in the area to the north and the south. It's zoned R1A, single-family residential in the city of Wentzville, and the land uses are vacant residential and common ground and single-family residential. To the east is R1C, single-family residential in the city of Wentzville, and that is developed with single-family residences. To the west is zoned agricultural in the county, and R1A in the city of Wentzville, and it's agricultural and vacant residential. Staff has reviewed the subject site with the criteria of the conditional use permits, and we find the use is appropriate, but there are some conditions that we would make on this approval. A couple things I wanted to bring up is they will be just extracting the topsoil from the bottom areas, and then the rest of the site would remain unused. We do have a 50-foot buffer that we require along Peru Creek. It's a vegetated buffer, and I apologize. I didn't. We as staff, we deal with these laws every day, and I forget to put them in the analysis, so I apologize. But there is a 50-foot buffer setback that we require, natural watercourse buffer setback along Peru Creek, so they can't do anything to disturb any of that vegetation within 50 feet of the creek. And their plan that they submitted shows that. Also, we have requirements that they take care of sediment erosion control. Those are all part of county requirements. One of the things that we were concerned about from the planning end is the entrance drive into the site. It's a private easement, and it is only one lane. And if they are having trucks coming in and out, they need to widen the pavement up for, to allow for two-way traffic. So we're proposing that they have it 24 feet wide, because we certainly don't want one of the neighbors who also uses that drive to have troubles as well. We've also put on the site that hours of operation should be 8 to 5. In this area with residences around it, we think it's appropriate to limit those hours of operation. So staff is recommending approval subject to the following conditions. A site plan must be submitted to and approved by St. Charles County Community Development Department, which is in conformity with the site plan submitted with this conditional use permit application. The hours of operation for the extraction of topsoil and trucks entering and exiting the site shall be limited to 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. The entrance drive shall be widened to 24 feet. The entrance to Wilmer Road shall be constructed to meet commercial entrance requirements of the St. Charles County Highway Department. 5, after topsoil removal of a permitted evacuation phase, permit vegetation of the area is going to be required prior to any additional area being approved for excavation. If required, all topsoil and subsoil removed, a topsoil dressing of 6 inches may be required to ensure permanent vegetation growth. 6, no topsoil shall be stockpiled at the site within the floodway of Prute Creek. 7, a final grading plan is required. The grading plan shall ensure in part that the stormwater drainage is adequate upon completion of topsoil operation. 8, no condition of this use shall be in active use until such time as all conditions of approval have been met. And 9, in any case where a conditional use is not in place and in active use within 2 years of the date of granting and or in accordance with the terms of the conditional use originally granted or subsequently amended, that without further action by the Planning and Zoning Commission and or County Council, the conditional use or authorization thereof shall be null and void. Those are the conditions that we have, and there were no letters. So are there questions of staff?
Yeah.
Gary.
Looking at the big map that we have, and then the smaller one that mentioning the ingress and egress road on the smaller one, is that paved where it comes over? It's shared by that one home?
That's a gravel.
That's a gravel. Mm-hmm. So that would be widened all the way back out to Wilmer Road, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And second question, just curious, when you extract topsoil, is there a limitation of how deep how much do you take, 4 feet, 3 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, 12 feet? How much soil can be taken off a site?
When we have done these in the past, we have not put a limit on that. It's generally not a problem, just because of the soil depths here aren't that great. But we can certainly ask the engineer what they anticipate, and you can condition that as well if you choose.
I was just wondering if it, if you get some heavy equipment in there and you're generally changing the topography, something as tall as a ceiling, you're obviously going to change water runoff, and where that might be is
right.
Might be a question to look at anyhow. That's all I had.
Okay.
Any other questions of staff? All right. Would the applicant care to step forward? Okay, can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Absolutely. Kurt Daniels with Cochran Engineering, number 8 East Main Street, Wentzville, Missouri. Along with me tonight is the owner of Carenbrock Farms, Mr. Roger Carenbrock, is here with me. And Jan did a great job in her analysis of describing what we're planning on doing, which isn't a lot, so I don't have a lot to add to that. The bottom fields is really what they are. There's floodway and floodplain. What we're looking at doing is taking off the topsoil in the area. And to answer the question on 3, 4, 5, 6 feet, maximum of what we're looking at is 18 inches is what topsoil. Now, could we have a 2-foot area? Yeah, we could, but predominantly we're looking at 18 inches, and there is a gravel seam that runs through the area. So of course, that part we're not even gonna touch at that point because the gravel does no good. So we would wish to see 4 feet of topsoil in Missouri, but unfortunately, we're never gonna see it. And so 18 inches is actually quite a bit of topsoil since it is a low area. It's going to have a little bit more than the common places. And common places, you'll see 6 to 8 inches of topsoil. So 18 inches is heavier or deeper than we usually see, but that's the depth we would expect to go to. And in doing so, everything that we had in the topsoil, Mr. Karenbrock, we've done a lot of work for him. If you ever go by any of his properties are good. Any property he would buy adjacent to properties, they always increase the aesthetic value. I know he's in the process of cleaning it up because there was a lot of derelict equipment, derelict playground sets, all kinds of stuff around this, and I know he's already in the process of cleaning it up. So, but the overall plan is to remove the topsoil within the floodway and floodplain area. Outside the floodplain area, when we remove the topsoil in the floodway, it will be raised back to the existing grade because legally, per the Corps of Engineers, we're not allowed to go any higher than it is today. So we would set benchmarks out there so that grade could be maintained throughout. Outside the floodway, we will bring in, we'll provide a grading plan as Jan requested to show what we would do outside the floodplain, which it's not going to be anything significant because if you see the hill out there on the site, coming down to the edge of the fields where we show as the hatchet areas, the trees, the house would set somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 60 feet, 50, 60 feet higher than that, so there's only so much you can even do outside the floodplain. So that's our plan. With the conditions we've looked at, one restriction we would respectfully request is Mr. Will Truss and his wife, the adjoining neighbors who share the drive are here tonight. It's the request of our client and also the adjacent property owner, the ones who access the drive, not to have to do it 24 feet all the way out. And when we talk about removing topsoil, the amount of trucks, talking to Mr. Karenbrock on the way here, 5 a day, 10 a day at times. This is not going to be all day long, every day you're seeing trucks out. Mr. Karenbrock owns a construction company also. When he does sidewalks or streets, he owns a concrete company. He's going to use this for backfill, for his own backfill. So I mean, this is a personal use for his construction company, but I don't see that we're talking 40 trucks a day by any stretch of the imagination. And we had that conversation. He said, we might send 5 out of there a day. He has his own few trucks. His trucks are going to deliver to his sites. So depending on where they are, how long they take. But the adjoining neighbor had also requested that, is there any way we can reduce that? Talking to Mr. Karenbrock, one thing we would like to request of the commission and also staff is, can we put some bypass areas, meaning not make the whole gravel drive 24 feet, but and I'm just pulling this 250 feet or 300, if that's 1,000 feet long, put a bypass. So if they did meet 2 trucks, there would be a 24-foot area. There's some power poles in there that are concerned. This is not a situation where this is a developer putting in lots and homes and all that. I mean, it's an individual pulling off the topsoil. His son's actually going to live in the house. So what we would request on the 24 feet is, can we put some bypass areas? And we'd be glad to work with staff on how many bypass areas that if 2 trucks are meeting, one can slow up a little bit as the other one pulls off to a gravel bypass, the truck goes by and one moves on. So probably as much of a concern that would be to the adjoining homeowners that could possibly meet a truck, because several trucks meeting on any given day are probably unlikely with the way he intends to use the property. So that's probably a little more than you wanted to hear about a topsoil removal, but as it falls under conditional use for quarry, it is what it is. It's a conditional use for a quarry, but he's using the topsoil for his own projects. So, and if there's anything the commission had, I would be glad to answer it.
How long is this project going to take?
You know what? 5, 7, 8 years, we don't know. It's how much topsoil on jobs does he need. It's not a you're going to see this removed in 1 year. And one thing that we have to do is make sure it's vegetated. So as one of the other adjacent property owners is here, and they were worried about the creek. And I said, the last thing we ever want to do is create sediment that gets into that creek, because we don't worry as much about St. Charles County as we do the Corps of Engineers. It gets serious.
Just take it as you need it?
Take it
or-
as we need it.
Okay.
So it's not going to be a situation that the whole thing's going to come in and be stripped. You're going to see scrapers running it. It's not that type of operation. It's typically going to be a high lift that pulls out the topsoil, stocks a little bit outside the floodway. As it's needed, it's pulled out. So we're not talking a massive operation. We're talking a pretty low-key operation is really what we're talking about. It's for his personal use. On the jobs, he needs topsoil, and probably most of his jobs do need topsoil, but we're not talking hundreds of thousands of yards. I mean, we're talking, as quarry operations go, which that's what we have to call it, this isn't a quarry operation. This is an individual who's using topsoil for his own use, and as he needs it, he'll pull it out of there for his construction jobs. So not to say 1 week could be busy and you didn't see him back there for 2 weeks. That could be the case. And there is a requirement that we have to ensure vegetation is established and the best management practices, and we fully intend to do that.
Any other questions of the applicant? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now open this up to the room, so if there's anybody that in the room that wishes to speak on this, please come forward. Going once, going twice.
Yeah.
All right, can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, can you state your name and address for a record?
Will Truss, 1370 Wilmer Road.
All right, go ahead.
I'm the concerned resident that shares the road, the gravel road that isn't really depicted much there. Our concern is that road is our, kind of our, it's not our road, which is our problem, but it's kind of keeps it private back where we are. We're set off the road of Wilmer, 1,000 feet or so. There's 10 acres of land in front of us. And we've got, animals, chickens, horses, small kids. And that was just one concern, was the road becoming a wide, more of a thoroughfare. Eventually, when it gets developed, if it ever does, which I'm sure it will, I'm hoping that they can get the road somewhere else. We're hoping that road does not become the main access way. We've got possibility, I was speaking with Roger, there's a possibility of joining up, doesn't really show on there, but up in the upper right corner, kind of up to highway, it's Old Z and Interstate Drive. If an easement could be granted to him at that point, that's why I really don't want to do too much in way of excavating this road that we have and widening it. Also, there's a tree line on there that we would lose a lot of it, or most, or if not all of the tree line, that would really just kind of lose our privacy. So that's kind of where we were coming from as concerned homeowners. Obviously, the truck traffic, I don't know what else to do with that. I mean, I'm not going to enjoy it, but if it's minimal, like they say, it's doable as long as we could keep that road more of like it is. And so I think a couple turnouts, 2 or 3, whatever it takes to allow passing of trucks and cars, that would be fine.
How wide is the existing road now?
Well, it's not very wide. I'm the one that maintains that road, and I've tried to keep ditches along the side for irrigation, and as the ditches grow, it's getting worse and worse. It's probably, gosh, I haven't measured it, but it barely fits a car right now. The trucks that he's bringing actually overdo in some spots. There's a little culvert area not far from Wilmer Road where somebody's gonna have to do some work on that. at some point too, because it's kind of giving away. And it's a small cover.
Isn't that going to be a problem if it's that narrow now, if you have trucks?
I'm sure that's
Gonna
a
be breaking
concern,
down
that
the
they need to
shoulders.
widen it at some point, and a lot of it just needs gravel. The previous owner of the property in question, he and I would share the cost of the gravel when he lived there, but he hasn't lived there for, I think, about 2 years now. David Arnold is the previous owner. And I was the one, with my tractor, I would grade and maintain the road, but we have not put gravel on it in 2 years, and it shows. It's in disrepair right now. But it's probably, 8 to 10 feet at best.
And you think for your own personal thing, having a turnoff rather than widening it to 24 feet is a better alternative?
Well, the problem, if you do widen it to 24 feet all the way, we're going to lose a whole row of trees. There's a tree line along the south side of the road. My initial
How about
hope,
widening it less than 20? I mean, if it's, what, I was asking how wide it is now. If you widened it and it didn't affect the trees, how wide would that be? Since you live there and drive it every day.
it depends on which direction. Originally, at part of the road now, the only way he can widen it is to, unless he goes into my yard, is to go to the south, and that's going to take the
On the
tree line
trees.
out. So there's not much yard there. My original impression was that was the way they were going to go all the way, and I was going to attempt to try to purchase an additional 25 feet into that south field so that he could put his road over there, but I understand that that's not in question now, so I don't know really, I don't have a great solution for it, which way. Right now, I think the widening is to be south, the south side where it is now, up to while it's going along my property, and then it shifts over to the north side of the existing road, west of my property, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would like to see it, I just think it would really change the landscape a lot if we did, if we were forced to do all that, if he had to widen the road like he's asked to.
Well, if the culvert fails, who replaces that?
I'm sorry, if the
If the
culvert,
culvert fails.
who would replace it? Well, that, we haven't really discussed that. I don't own the road. I've been maintaining it and then helping out with the gravel of it in the past. I only have an easement on it. So I don't know how that would have something that Mr. Karen Brock and I would have to work out, I guess. I would assume, just because it's fine for our use with little traffic we have now, that would be something that he could put in, because he's got all the equipment to do that. But I think that culvert would be something that he'd have to look into, because if one of his trucks missed it just by a little bit, you're off into a pretty bad ditch.
And then you're in a situation where you can't get in and out of your house anymore.
Exactly. That's our only access. Fire, police, and ambulance is all down that road. So I understand the concern, and I appreciate the concern of going to a wider road, because I think of that a lot. We have a guy that keeps horses in the front field, and he parks his trailer right in the road all the time, whenever he's doing it, and I've got to wait, and sometimes it's a very, we're not always planning, we're late to somewhere, church or something, and he's out in the middle of the road. So it would be nice to have at least the turnouts, and the wide road, if it could handle it, that would be great to get around. But I would think the turnouts would do, would suffice.
Would you settle for the turnouts, and then that culvert's what concerns me? Then go ahead and make that culvert, fix it, be proactive with the culvert.
Correct. I believe that would have to be, because when we had a lot of rain this spring, it actually gets cluttered up with all kinds of branches, and actually water goes over the road at that point. And then I'm stuck. I've had it where I've had to replace, before I can get out, I have to get on a tractor and fix it. So no, that would be, you're right, you're absolutely right. That culvert needs some attention
Yeah.
sooner than anything.
Also, relative to the culvert, that's in the right-of-way of Wilmer Road, so when they get their permit from the county highway department, that's something that that would certainly end up being addressed, especially if they have to make that entrance wider. Staff would be really surprised if the highway department let that entrance remain as it is with the change of use on the property.
So you mean that would fall under the
I
what
think,
county, the county
yeah,
would
I think
require?
when they widen the road, they're going to have to put in a new culvert. But I don't, that's something we'll manage on the site plan review.
Okay.
Any questions of this gentleman? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, continuing with the public portion, is there anybody else in the room that wishes to speak on this? Yeah, why don't you come on forward? Thank you. Okay, if you would raise your right hand for us. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address for a record?
Roger Karen Brock, 5090 Highway D,
All right.
New
Go ahead.
Valley, Missouri, yeah. I just want to head on that road. It's about 10 feet now. And I own the 25 feet personally to the north, you know. But there's a set of telephone poles there, and I asked him if we could just put, last night, if we could just put like another 4 foot along the edge, you know, to make the road wider. And culvert you're concerned about, I already know that, I'm in the infrastructure business too, you know, we put storm sewers in, you know, I'm gonna fix that culvert. And it's not at the county entryway, it's probably off the road 100 feet, or, you know, it's on the gravel road, it don't have nothing to do with the county right of way. It's back. I'm just assuring you that I know the road's narrow, we talked about it, and that I would fix that culvert and make it right, you know. But between the existing road and my 25 feet, there's a set of telephone poles. Yeah, you follow me? And not a fence, just a set of poles. So I suggested to make some places to meet between the poles, you know, and just, you know, if you see somebody coming, you can get over. That's about all I got to say. I mean,
Well, you've discussed this and worked it out between you,
well,
more or less, yeah?
yeah, I just wanted to explain a little better, you know.
The turnarounds, everybody agrees with that, that's a good thing?
Yeah, you know, amount of trucks, you know, it might be one a week, then 2 weeks later, it could be, maybe one day it might have 15 in there a day, you know. Then it could be maybe it's just sporadic, small work. Like I had 1,000 handicap ramps to fix in St. Charles County, the ADA ramps at the end of the streets. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that project. Well, I was aware of that project, but it took a ton of dirt. You know, I had to backfill each one. If you don't have decent dirt, you can't get grass to grow, then you make multiple trips back. You follow me? And then multiple trips back costs money, you know, the more you go back. So that's about all I'd say about it, you know. I just need the dirt, you know.
Thank you. All right. Anybody who hasn't spoken yet? All right. If the applicant wants to come forward and address anything, or okay.
He addressed what I was concerned that you guys understood.
All right. All right. We'll close the public portion of the hearing and bring it back before the commission.
I would ask, I think they would agree if we could take that third condition out, and how would we word that?
I've been working on that.
You read our minds.
All right. I put the entrance structure should be widened to 14 feet with two 18-foot wide bump outs at 25 feet in length, and that's how I had it. So my inflection wasn't correct as I read that. I'm sorry. The entrance structure shall be
Sounded
widened to
different in
14
your head,
feet
didn't it?
With two 18-foot wide bump outs, 25 feet in length. There, that's how.
I would make a motion to,
Oh, I'm sorry, can I add one more?
yes,
On the next condition, the entrance to Wilmer Road shall be constructed to meet, I would say we take the word commercial out of that. Let's just say to meet entrance requirements of the St. Charles County Highway Department. The Highway Department may want it to be a commercial entrance, or they may not, so we'll just have it meet their entrance requirements.
okay.
All right.
I would make a motion to adopt, eliminate the third condition as it is, and then insert what Jan has put in the record. I'm not going to try to repeat it. And then in condition 4, eliminate the word commercial.
Second.
All right. There's been a motion and a second for those changes to condition 3 and condition 4. I think we'll be in agreement, so I'll just do this by acclamation. All in favor, sign aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those conditions have been changed. Any other discussion?
Oh, okay.
I don't think you hit the motion, the original motion did not address approving the entire.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, yeah. So,
Okay,
yeah, we
gotcha.
got those
Conditions,
conditions
okay.
changed. Any other discussion on the, this? I will entertain a motion to
I'll make a mo-
approve.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I did.
Gary.
Gary, okay, Gary and Roger.
Seconded with the, her recommendations, with the conditions. All right, Mr. Ellis, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Keckner?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn?
Yes.
Mr. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Sadler's not here, Mr. Cronin's not here, and I vote yes as well. Motion carries 6-0. All right, moving right along. Our next application is 18895 by Dale Walterman, Landmark Surveying Company applicant, representative, Sterling M. and Mary R. Redfern, owner. The application requests a rezoning change from A, agricultural district, 5 acres minimum lot size, to RR, single-family residential district, 3-acre minimum lot size. The property is located on the east side of Redfern Lane, approximately 700 feet east of Redfern Court, and on the west side of Highway F, approximately 1,400 feet south of Buckstone Pass. The property consists of 24.64 acres and is located within Council District 2. Staff?
Okay, sorry. The subject property and the adjoining properties are all zoned A agricultural. Land uses in the area include to the north, single-family residential, to the south is vacant, to the east is single-family residential, and to the west is single-family residential. The staff has reviewed the application, oh, I'm sorry, I was supposed to mention one more thing, apologize. The 2020 land use plan does show it as rural residential. Okay. The vacant property consists of about 24.5 acres, and they are proposing to do the RR, single-family residential district, which is our 3-acre minimum lot size. The owner wants to do Plat 2 of the Redfern subdivision. Redfern Manor is just to the west of this site. The density is consistent with the the rural residential land use plan, and there are other 3-acre lots in the area with the existing Redfern Manor subdivision and other subdivisions in the area. So staff is recommending approval of the zoning change from A to RR.
That existing subdivision, are those three lot acres? Or 3-acre
They
lots?
range in size from like 3 to 6 acres
This is before the,
before the change in
Change from-
2006. Yes.
okay.
And we did have letters?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. We had a letter from Debbie and Chris Landry in opposition, and a letter from MoDOT.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff?
What was, we didn't get MoDOT's letter, what was?
Oh,
It was in the addendum packet.
yeah.
Oh,
It's in the-
probably if I read
I'm
that,
sorry.
then I would see it. I see it.
They have no comment regarding the petition, and any work in their right-of-way will require a MoDOT permit.
Okay.
No
And they are not
comment,
proposing any
no
work in the
liability.
MoDOT right-of-way, so.
Any other questions of staff? All right. Is the applicant here? Only one person left in the room and 2 applications left. This is going to get interesting. All right, can you raise your right hand for us? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, can you state your name and address for our record?
Dale Walterman with Landmark Surveying, 802 East Main Street, Winsville.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here representing the Redferns in their rezoning request. As usual, Jan says everything we're going to say anyhow, so. But I just would like to mention that the Redfern Manor Plat 1, this is a natural progression or extension of Plat 1, which is platted prior to the zoning changes. And also, you know, something happened called the Great Recession, which kind of slowed things down for 5 or 6 years. So in between Plat 1 and the Great Recession, everything got rezoned to agriculture to 5-acre minimum. But she's right. You know, when you come down New Mally Oaks Lane to access this site, all the parcels of ground on the west side of them are between 3 and 4 acres. And then in Redfern Manor Plat 1 itself, the majority of the lots are less than 4 acres, and there's a 5-acre and a 6-acre tract. So all of the existing, 11 of the parcels that are adjacent to the roadway are between 3 and 4 acres. 3 of them are between 4 and 5, and 2 of them are more than 5, so it's consistent.
How many lots are you proposing?
7 lots left.
Any other questions of the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now open up to the public. Seeing none, we will bring it back before the commission. Any other questions, comments, discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
All right.
Second?
All right, Mr. Griffin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Keckner?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn?
Yes.
Mr. Leonard?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
All right, motion approved 6-0. All right. Final thing we have is a tabled preliminary plat from last meeting. So we need a motion to bring this back up from the table. Okay, Mr. Ellis' motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, sign aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, it's brought up back from the table. Preliminary plat, 18332. Let's see. Pull up my preliminary plat for McCoy Creek Estates, Plat 2 by Landmark Surveying Company applicant, Kyle and Brittany Funk, owner. The property is one lot located on the east side of Shane Lane, east of Dunkey Road, and is zoned A/FF/FW Agricultural District, 5-acre minimum lot size, floodway fringe and floodway overlay. It's within floodway overlay districts, and it's within Council District 1. Staff, anything?
Dale, do you have a copy of the plat? Yeah, okay. Sorry. We're having technical difficulties, so I can't show the plat. I can turn the little screen around. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, that's the thing that I emailed.
You want to embarrass me with this anyhow.
Well, I have to make it subject to that. All right, thank you. Okay, this is a single lot subdivision. They are proposing to have their access come off of Shane Lane. They've requested a variance to not plat a subdivision street going to the subdivision. And we're also adding another variance to it, and that be that the floodway not be in common ground. There could be just a little smidgen of floodway on the property this is along McCoy Creek. And with different maps, it's close. So anyway, those are the two variances that are requested. The red that you see on there, there's some vegetated buffer areas that we had seen on our field visit to the site that'll need to be put on, encumbered on the property. Like we talked about, the regular smaller streams like this have a 25-foot vegetated buffer setback from the top of the bank. They can't remove any vegetation within 25 feet. And so they'll have to show that area on the record plat. So if you guys do approve it, it would be subject to the vegetated buffer and then the variance for no access on a street, that they have an easement of access, and then the floodway. Okay. Now, as far as the, outside of those two variances, the plat does meet the county ordinances. Staff is a little hesitant to make a big recommendation of approval because of the difficulty in accessing the site through a 20-foot wide easement. They've proposed a 9-foot wide drive getting to it, and we have a lot of questions and concerns about that. But we have approved things like this in the past, and so staff is, I'm sorry, I can only do a lukewarm. Okay. So there's the staff recommendation. Any questions of staff?
The tepid recommendation from staff.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions of staff?
What's the precedence that's making this lukewarm? So you're not taking and putting both boots in the water?
When the original McCoy Creek Estates subdivision plat came in, there were some concerns that we had with the access point on Dinky Road, and for the like site distance, and there's a steeper slope and things like that. Where they're doing this plat, this one lot, there's 2 lots further to the south, and I guess I should back up and say this piece was, when we did the McCoy Creek subdivision plat, this piece was also owned, Dale was the developer, was also owned by Dale, and it is next to the MAR track, which went into Wentzville, as being developed residentially. So Wentzville has a stub street going into this tract on the plats that were approved at the MAR site, and so we wanted this tract to be developed going to the east and utilize that entrance and things like that. So now we have this, and then and what the current property owner has done is he has given 5 acres to the guy that owns lot 2, and another 5, or not given, but purchased, and the guy who owns lot 3 has purchased another 5 acres. We're really afraid that those guys are going to come in and want the same thing. So if you approve it, we would definitely say nothing else is going to happen. And now those other 2 property owners have not indicated that they want in any way to develop those sites. They want to be out there by themselves. They want the extra property so that they won't have anything next to them. But we all know what happens in the world as things change. So that's kind of where staff is with this.
And who owns the property that the easement will?
It's the person who is requesting the subdivision plat owns both properties right now, and I think his intention is to sell. He's building a house on the lot 1 in McCoy Creek Estates Plat 1. He's building a house there, and I think his intention was to sell that house, and he would live in this house, but I'm not sure exactly.
Any other questions? Discussions?
So the plans for this lot is to build one home on this 5
Correct.
acres?
Correct, and Mr. Walterman is the engineer, so he would be here to present for them too, sorry. I took all his thunder again.
Well, I have a lot of answers.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's go backwards. The owners of lots 2 and 3 have requested me or hired me to take their 2 lots, lot 2 and 3, McCoy Creek Plat 1, add the 2 5-acre tracts that they purchased south of this one lot, and do a boundary adjustment plat to where they each only have 1 lot. So there will be no more building permits asked for to come through this subdivision. They're going to take care of that with this boundary adjustment plat. So that will never be an issue. In other words, they're each going to have 8-acre lots. The 3 acres from McCoy Creek Plat 1, the 2 5-acre tracts they purchased, so they will have 2 8-acre lots, and that's the way it will remain. No other additional building permits will be requested, except maybe a garage. you know. And that'll take care of that. As far as the 20-foot wide, Joe Gantner from the St. Charles County Highway Department, our review, he's been beating me up for about 4 months on this private roadway to make sure that it meets the county standards, even though it's only a 10-foot wide private driveway. It will meet all the county standards. It just will be 10-foot wide instead of 20-foot wide. You know, we got to do all the hydraulic calculations for the culvert. We have to get easements for construction. It's all been taken care of. We're still in the process of getting that taken care of. And his plan is, he's building a house on Lot 1, and his future plans, I don't know, next week, 5 years from now, he wants to build a house on this one lot. And that would be the only house left. And Jan was right. Originally, when Plat 1 came in, let's see, let's go. This is the City of Winsville property. And there was a stub street coming in here from City of Winsville that was going to access all of this property. But, you know, with again, the Great Recession, that subdivision is kind of laid dormant for 5 years. So when we got Plat 1 recorded, we just to make sure, when Plat 1 was recorded, we have one 20-foot wide private driveway to access this piece of ground. And on the plat, it states that only one residence could be built on this 16 acres, this entire 16 acres. And this is the one residence. So and we're glad we did that, otherwise this would have been landlocked until Winsville developed that entire site.
Now, the driveway, what is it connecting into? What paved street?
It connects to Shane Lane. Yeah, and it is paved asphalt. It connects to Shane Lane, and then it's, I think, about 600 feet long to get back to there. And no other private drives back there. This is going to clean up that whole 16 acres.
Now, 10-foot wide is large enough for fire trucks and ambulances and...
It would be just wide enough, like a highway lane.
Yeah,
is
one lane
like,
wide.
Yeah, like in that 10 to 12-foot wing. But based on what Dale has said, staff is a little warmer towards it. Okay.
If she went from tepid to what?
Bath temperature, maybe.
A nice warm bath.
Yeah, I think she was concerned about these other applicants coming in and wanting to do the same thing on lots 2 and 3, and that's not going to happen.
And so when those public hearings happen later, we will say that it was said that it's not going to happen, and then we will recommend denial of any other ones. I'll put that on the record.
She will get a boundary adjustment plat in the next couple of weeks.
Then I'll be really happy.
All right.
I move approval of
All right.
preliminary plat 1833-2.
Second.
All right. Mr. Griffin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mrs. Keckner?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn?
Yes.
Mr. Leonard?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
All right. Motion is approved 6-0.
My ramblings.
You're going to have to leave DNA and a hair sample before you leave the room.
Still nothing to pee in a cup. All right. Let's see. Other business. First of all, the approval of meetings from the minutes from last meeting. We all received that. Any changes? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the May meeting?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. The only other business on our agenda, Master Plan and Vision 2025.
The master plan was voted on by the Master Plan Steering Committee, which Tom and Jeanette were on, at their, we met June 4th the second time? Wow. Anyway, they met a second time. Revisions were made to the future land use plan, and the committee was okay with it. The document now goes to the county council, and it is on the county council meeting for June 24th. And the second vote will be at that first meeting in July. So the master plan is moving forward.
Thank you.
And you probably will not get paper copies. If any of you want a paper copy, you'll have to request those. Otherwise, it'll be on the web, or we'll give you a handy-dandy disc.
I would like a desk, please.
A disc?
A desk.
Is that disc available now?
I can, it's on the webpage right now, but we can see about mailing you a disc.
I would like that.
Okay. Anyone else want us to mail you a disc?
Well, I can come in and pick one up. I live nice and close, so you don't have to mail it out
Okay.
to me. I'll come in and pick one up.
All right. So that's about it on the master plan, unless there's more questions.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Have a good evening, week, month.